No, but unsolicited nudes are a red flag. Someone should not send me nudes unless we have discussed it in some way.
Oh, these are people that I know that know well, I will not be bothered by getting a nude.
But they
It's
don't just send them just out of the blue, or is it like a joke? I
oh
mean, I
no,
don't
it's
know.
just somebody
I
being
know what you
nice.
mean. There's people who are just like, "Hey, I got some nudes you want to see," and you're like, "Yeah," and
Yeah,
so
no,
they
it's just
know that it's cool. And all
it's
right,
somebody who I know who's very attractive who I do enjoy the nudes. They're
hmm,
appreciated. Whether or not they asked or not, I don't remember. I
you
mean, maybe they
lucky
did back in the day.
girl. I have to practically like hound people.
What, for
Like,
nudes?
yeah,
You
like
want me to
I
send
mean,
you a nude,
I
Kim?
don't know. No,
Yes, you do. See the look?
no,
That's why we do this on video.
no, no. Okay, yeah, no, yes. But not in a sexual way. Like you take really good pictures.
I'm going to
So
send you the least sexy nude you have ever seen in your life because that's all of my nudes. They're very
artistically,
unsexy.
artistically, I would be. And like you, when you take latex pictures, they're cool. I want to see them. I don't find them offensive at all. But
Um,
I don't really want to see any part of you below your waist. Um, because it makes me feel dysphoric.
oh,
Maybe.
really? Well, all right, look, really,
I don't know what I don't really know. How's that? I'm not sure how I feel about it. I sure certainly hadn't come asking wouldn't come asking for it, if that
there
makes
are,
sense.
yeah, there are people that I know that really do make me feel dysphoric. But it's, I think, less about them in particular and more about youth. I'm starting to recognize how old I am in general. Not any specific thing about me. You know, I have loose skin around my neck, wrinkles around my eyes. You know, all those are specific. But in general, I just feel really old.
Age related dysphoria is a bitch.
Oh yeah, but it's a universal. It's this dysphoria makes it sound like it's a trans problem.
Well, see, that's the thing though, is it triggers dysphoria though. Like it's not in its original form. It's like, oh, they're so pretty and I don't look like that. But I never looked like that. And then it triggered, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
oh, I missed my opportunity to live in that era of my own life authentically. So it really triggers a lot of remorse that like I wasn't able to. So
mhm.
it is this, you know what I mean? Like it's bad enough to just be like, oh, I'm not as young as I used to be, but also to be like, I completely missed out on being a young woman.
I
And
tend to not get too tangled up in that, only for the fact
oh, the brain, it does those things to me.
it does. And then I guess a better way to put this is that not that I don't get tangled up in that, it's that when I get tangled up in that, I try and look at it this way, that never before has it been better to be trans. And I am grateful that I get to do it now. You know what I mean? And that
Absolutely.
I can walk out my front door and feel like I look, sound, move like whatever a woman, and like I feel like I present. I'm pretty close to the image that I had in my brain when I started this, and that makes me really, really happy and feel really grateful. Yeah, I would love to have done this when I was 20, but I'm going to show you a picture of me when I was 20. I would not have been very pretty.
What are you talking about? You would have been gorgeous, but would there have been much value for you to come out and attempt to transition at that time
Oh
in
no,
the world? And I know for me, like I really think that like this came at just the right time.
yeah.
And
a minute earlier wouldn't have been right. And I'm very grateful for the years I got to play Quinn.
Yeah.
And I've told you the story, but for the video's sake, um, I have had the name Quinn for 15 years because I was a crossdresser, and in doing the latex thing, I was always dressed up in latex as a girl, and so that's where the name Quinn came from. So doing that as often as I did served as a trans 101 for like years. So I got really comfortable just being that. And so I didn't have to deal, when I finally, chemically transitioned, it wasn't that much of a shock. Like there was the term coming out doesn't even really apply to me. I just feel like it just, okay, I take pills now.
It was kind of, yeah.
I didn't have to buy any clothes, it just kind of was.
You did do it in a different, but did you? You didn't have regular street clothes for women, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you did?
By then, yeah.
Oh, God, it was such a shock to me. I had no idea how to dress.
No,
I didn't have
it started
anything.
out with all latex, and then I would start going to the if you've never tried latex clothing, it is a copious pain in the ass to put on.
Yeah, I gather that, yes.
You have to lube it, and it's
Lube it.
the process of getting dressed in latex is ritualistic. You have to go through this whole thing to do it, and you only do it for certain occasions, and da. So I ended up going and being social as Quinn when I didn't want to fuck with latex, but I was like, but I dress up as a girl, and nobody will recognize me if I just go in guy clothes. So, yeah, you know what it is. I wanted to transition the entire time. I used Quinn as an excuse.
No, you didn't. Oh my goodness.
So
I can't believe you would do that. That's unheard of in the trans community, to
right?
cross-dress as a gateway.
I will always understand the male brain more than I understand the female brain because I've spent more time there. And
you know what? I don't know that I will always. I'm definitely like remembering what it was like to think with testosterone as my primary hormone it's like sort of like looking under the blankets. Like or being under like in a thick fog. Like I know it's there. I remember it's definitely accessible, but it's like a burden to go back into those thoughts and memories. And
I
like
don't enjoy it. It's not something I dig through to try and dissect or anything else like that. It's just when I see somebody else doing something that I used to do, I'm always like,
oh yeah. But see, that's the thing is it's really more of a memory than it is a relatable thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't relate to the way men and in a lot of ways I always struggle to sort of relate to the way men thought and behaved, or I would flip-flop, which was problematic. They said bipolar, but no, I mean there was just times where when my hormone levels were lower, I would revert back to me more easily, whereas like when the testosterone was flaring, in the spring and like that stuff would get going, it took sort of over and my thinking was different. I've looked back on it, thought about it a lot. Estrogen is definitely for me.
Yeah.
I favor it. I don't really like to be driven in that way. Having that much focus on sex is just, it doesn't do it for me. Recovering from testosterone poisoning.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, do you think that's an interesting topic for you? Can you view it in that way of sort of decompressing? I felt it was like a steroid, right? And so it was always like, And like now I'm like, oh, like muscle groups slowly like decompress and atrophy, and like it's good. It's what I'm looking for, you know. Like my neck has finally sort of softened a little bit because, and like my jaw is loosening up, and you know, it's not just like the layer of fat. It's like the muscle structures of my body are like conforming to the lack of steroids pumping through me all the time, you know?
So I've never been terribly muscular in the first place. You worked very hard, and I've never been terribly physically fit. I've always had lazy jobs like driving or sitting on the bridge of a ship, right? I don't have terribly active work. So it estrogen worked very quickly to make me very almost emaciated. I look at the pictures every now and again and I'm like, man, I have no muscle at all.
I mean, I still
Which
have
I love,
like
but it's stark.
I still have like Popeye forearms, you know, from working with hand tools and stuff like that. And you know, the reason that my neck is messed up in the way that it is because I developed more muscles in my shoulders and arms and whatever like that than my neck could support. Literally crushed my own neck under the weight of my arms working, you know. And
Really?
oh god, yeah, it was the low one down here that was really the worst,
Oh,
that was causing me all kinds of problems, and it's I crushed it. Just yeah, I I could lift more than my spine could handle, and that's where it collapsed. And so, you know, I can't ever do that again, so I don't need to have the muscles to support that. I don't want them. You know what I mean?
I do.
And I
How's your recovery going? I haven't talked to you in weeks. Like, are you feeling better? Are you really on the road or?
I mean, it's slow.
Yeah.
It's slow. Yeah, I get pain and I get cramps and stuff. I it's really hard to pace myself the way that I would need to, if that makes sense. So like my the maintainable speed is really slow. So what I do is I usually like rest, and then like run at something for a while and then rest a lot. You
Mhm.
know, it's like it's very hard to do almost nothing consistently.
Oh no, I've gotten very good at that.
I mean, you would
I can
think,
do zero for days and just wonder where did that time go?